this is Mish, and welcome to this Taboo review. This is for the finale of Season 1, so this is Episode 8. As always, this will contain spoilers, so if you're not up to date, go and watch the episode, then come back to this video. What a great finale. I was really surprised at just how fast everything occurred, and now we seem to be done with London as well as far as James is concerned, and on to Ponte Delgado to seek out Colonnade. So let's break down the episode to help dissect the story and point out some interesting aspects. So the opening scene was the suicide of Zilpha. I did pick this from the last episode because it had a strong foreshadowing of her drowning. And it's sad because Ona Chaplin, the actress who plays Zilpha, is good, and her role going forward will obviously be a lot less. But I wouldn't be surprised if she now becomes a more regular haunting, a spirit, if you will, that often visits James in Season 2. If Season 2 does eventuate, of course. As we know, Stephen Knight has confirmed, but I imagine a lot of pieces of the puzzle need to come together, but let's cross our fingers for him and for Season 2. And also for Zilpha to be a regular, spirit that visits James as well. That would be pretty cool. Then we see James in the tower, striking a deal with Sir Stuart Strange. So using that leverage of the Cornwallis, pointing out with his testimonies and Godfrey's testimony, he will be in the tower for treason also. So, pointing out, Sir Stuart Strange, you'll be in here with me if you don't get me out. So, more information of the sinking of the Cornwallis was raised as well, that they put up an American flag when they're transporting the slaves. And it was a direct order from Sir Stuart as well for that whole situation to occur. So we hear James's demands: freedom for himself, releasing Helga and Pearl, and getting a boat. But we see James biding his time and stalling with the case in front of Coop, waiting for his plan to fall into place. So James's plan: Robert, his son, is running around town delivering letters to all James's employees/helpers, giving them separate tasks to complete, then advising them to meet him at the docks, and that's where his new ship will be. So we see Mr. Chumley preparing the explosives. We see Lorna approaching Carlsbad to get the letter allowing them through the blockade. We see that Atticus frees Helga and Pearl, and we also see that the East India Company is falling right into his hands with this. So we see Pettifer releases Helga, then Atticus shoots Pettifer in the face. The main reason for this would be for killing Winter, but I would have liked to see Helga doing this as more of a vengeance of herself as opposed to Atticus doing it on her behalf. Then we see Lorna take Helga and Pearl to the docks. So at this point, James is freed from the prison, and he arrives at home. Now he finds the letter from Zilpha. A very interesting conversation happens between him and Lorna around this. So James claiming Zilpha isn't dead because he would be hearing her sing to him as a spirit. But in the next scene, when James visits Dumpton, we get the confirmation that she is dead because she does visit him as a spirit. But it was a pretty emotional scene with James and Lorna there, seeing a side of James that we've not really seen before, so that was pretty cool. So on to Dumpton. After James finishes up with Lorna, he says, I've got to go see somebody, so he heads over to Dumpton. So we had a twist. So we hear before then, when Lorna visits Carlsbad, she mentions that James will fix a leak. And I wondered, who's it a reference to? But James, when visiting Dumpton tries to get him to sign the treaty over to him on behalf of the Americans, but I think it was probably going to be on behalf of the East Indian Company. But James calls him out for his betrayal here. So he calls him out for working with the Americans and for that working with the East India Company, and ends up killing him, then hangs him up like a flag as well. So then off he goes to the docks after that. So James goes up to Atticus, tells him the plan and what's going on. Then we see Brace trying to get involved and help, but James pulls him aside saying, no, don't do that, and also you're not coming with us. And we see Brace obviously getting pretty upset with this, saying that you were not born into freedom, you wouldn't know what to do with it, so the house is yours, so you stay here. And it's tricky too, because we see a scene at the end with Brace. I'm not sure if he's happy or not. It's hard to pick up his actual emotion in that scene, but it was pretty cool anyway. So on to the final showdown at the docks. It was pretty awesome. We see the king really pushed to his limits, saying he's heard the voice of God. He just wants to kill them all. He doesn't care anymore, so sends in his soldiers to kill them all. Just before we see the soldiers arrive, we see Benjamin Wilton. That's one of the East India Company's one of the main guys. He's killed by French Bill. So then Mr. Chumley has laid a trap for the soldiers arriving in that tunnel. So then violence ensues. We see a lot of death and a lot of injuries, even on James's side as well. So we see Helga shot in the back, and we see Martinez as well. So a few random helpers, random extras here and there as well on James's side get it. But we see Mr. Chumley blown up, but still alive somehow. And Lorna is shot as well. It seems to be it was an upper body shot. So it's going to be tricky if she survives or not. But the ship does set sail with what is left of the crew. It has supplies and it has the powder as well. After this happens, we see that James's work continues after he has left London. So Mr. Chichester is given a letter advising him where to find the testimony for James and Godfrey against the East India Company. We see Chichester seems happy with what he's found, even though he's lost the attendance of the witness at the court ceremony or whatever's going to occur. At least he has the written testimony, so he seems to be happy with that. Then we see Sir Stuart Strange opening up what he thinks is the Nuka Sounds Treaty signed over by James. So Dumpton was Stuart's ace card and was trying to trick James to signing it over to the Americans when I think it was probably going to be switched to the East India Company somehow. But either way, it didn't happen. But what James did, kindly enough, he sent him something else instead. So he sent him some explosives. And it's most likely that Sir Stuart is dead. But you never can tell. If Chumley survived that explosion right behind him of that much powder, so could Sir Stuart. I wouldn't rule him out for Season 2 if that does occur. And the final words from James when they're on a boat sailing off into the distance is that they're heading to Ponta Delgado to seek out colonnade. So that's an island west of Spain, very far from the coast though. And that is in a nutshell what happened. So summary of the episode, it really has wrapped up very nicely. Many story arcs to continue in the future, but they're all left in a nice, satisfactory state, so that if Season 2 doesn't happen, you can assume what occurs after this point. So it also really leaves a nice staged point for Season 2 as well, that it can continue on with multiple characters and the story on from multiple people as well, which is quite nice. But once again, it can finish here. I can easily say I'm happy with it to be left here. I can, in my head, I can envisage what's going to happen. But no, I don't want that. I just say that it's a good point to leave it if it doesn't occur. So all in all, really good. Once again, great acting. The action was good. The story is good. The script is amazing. Very surprised at how many people actually died in this episode. Main characters, I think it was 6. I really hope Season 2 does happen. We've heard that once again that Stephen Knight is planning it, so hopefully it does occur, and hopefully all the pieces fall into place for him, and Season 2 kicks off as soon as possible. So I'll leave this review here. I'll do another video in the future around my thoughts for how I think Season 2 will pan out. But I hope you enjoyed this recap I've done of the finale here. Once again, great episode, and it'll be sadly missed by myself. I hope this video helped you out. If you missed some subtleties within the story, please share the video, thumbs it up if you like it, subscribe if you haven't already, that would be awesome. And until next time, this is Mesh, and I'll see you later.